Darius, how do you weigh, the positives and negatives of going pro or staying for a CBU? How do you weigh that?
I don't really think about it. The whole focus has been on this last game the past month. So.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. I'm Tommy Kreisman along with Mr. Jordy Holmberg, and the news is flying out of the LSU football office.
Timely.
We saw a clip of Darius Geis. He has declared he becomes the fifth Tiger
No
to
surprise.
say he's going to the NFL, but probably no surprise, but as big, if not, it's a bigger story because it pertains to the future of LSU football. Central product, former Tiger quarterback Steve Ensminger is now officially the offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers, persuaded to take the job by Ed Orgeron. And we know
Steve's
the story about it.
He's looking up to the skies. What did I get into?
He's
What did I get myself into?
Jordy, when you were bouncing the basketball around,
Steve
at
was the
LSU,
quarterback.
Steve was the quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure there was Broussard Hall and
Yeah,
all kind of stuff.
all kind of stuff.
I've only met Steve once or twice over the years. I can't say that I know him, but you know him. You've been around him. And if you're an LSU football fan, you have to support the team.
Absolutely.
You support the coach. You support the staff he hires. Steve Ensminger, now the official offensive coordinator. Your thoughts?
I think it is, look, how can I put this? I'll just be blunt. Steve Ensminger did a yeoman's job as the interim offensive coordinator. Steve Ensminger was not going to get Ed Orgeron the full-time head coaching job. O had to make a splash. He did it. Things didn't work out. He's back in his comfort zone. He's got someone that he trusts, that he believes in, and so he's going to go with that. And look, I'm an LSU guy. I wish it nothing but the best. But someone approached me today and said, okay, you're sitting here, and here's door number one. You got Les Miles and Cam Cameron. And here's door number two. You got Ed Orgeron, you got Steve Ensminger. Which one are you going to pick? Which door are you going to pick?
Heck of a question.
I mean, a lot more skins on the wall behind door number one there is door number two. But let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens. All Steve has to do is develop a quarterback.
Develop a quarterback.
Game, set, match.
Against a very tough schedule.
Game,
the
set,
toughest
match.
schedule LSU is going to face in a long time.
No
And
question.
they've had some tough ones over the years.
No question.
But here's a question I have. I know you don't have the answer, but let's ponder this together.
Okay. All right.
Do you think, your best guess, you've been around this, you've been doing this for forever, that Ed Orgeron even sought anyone else?
I don't believe he did.
I know they couldn't do this till Canada was officially out the door. I get
But
that
he
part
knew
of
that
it.
a long time
Yeah,
ago,
we
though.
knew that after the A&M
So
game
he had a
last
chance
year.
to do a lot of calling and this, that. I think, Tommy, I really believe he said, I tried this guy. I didn't know him from a man in the moon. I needed this splash hire to get the job. If I'm going to go down with the ship, I'm going to go with my people. I think he believes that he can win with this. And good for him, and I hope it does. But I think burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. I think he wants people that he wants to be in the foxhole with, to steal a cliche.
All right. I went on the air Wednesday afternoon with an OC and a question mark in my notes, and I wondered, what is the delay? Canada's gone since Friday, officially.
Mm-hmm.
What's the delay? Might the delay have been
Convincing?
persuading Ensminger? Maybe Ensminger said, hey, Ed, give me a couple of days.
No one ever fires the tight ends coach.
Yeah,
Ever.
Ed, give me a couple of days. Let me really think about this. I don't mean I want to think about it while I'm driving home one afternoon. I need a couple of days this is a major decision. I need a couple of days, and that might be the reason for the little bit of a delay, if you will.
And what are they going to pay him?
That's going to come out sooner or later.
I know. What are they going to?
Well, he made
they're not gonna pay.
$325 last year.
They're not going to pay him $1.5 million.
Well,
But if I'm Steve Ensminger, I'm going, well, you paid that guy $1.5 million. Pay me $1.5 million or more.
Well, his salary is $325,000.
Yep.
Last year, when he was the interim coordinator, he got an extra $25,000 per game, which was 8 games, so that's an extra $200,000. All right, and a bowl game, so a little over 200.
So let's say he made $600,000,
give or take a few bucks. Right. So, if I'm Ensminger, I'm saying I got to have at least $1 million.
Oh, more than that.
I know. I mean, I said at least.
Yeah.
Like bottom line here, I got to have 2 commas.
Yeah.
I got to have 2 commas in this 7-digit equation.
And then it comes to the story. A lot of people ask me, what was Joe Oliva's role in this? Joe Oliva had the right to say, no, Ed, this isn't going to work. We got to get somebody else. Or, okay, but those two are attached to the hip, right? If Ed Orgeron doesn't succeed, Joe Oliva doesn't succeed.
I'm going to hope that I'm correct when I say that Joe Oliva is going to let Ed Orgeron run the football program unless Ed asks for his advice. Okay. If Ed said, Joe, what do you think if I do this? Then the door's open. Joe can say whatever he wants to say.
But don't you agree, though, that if this coaching situation doesn't work, Joe Oliva will not be the man to hire the next football coach?
I agree with that.
Okay. So they are kind of joined at the hip. And so it's in their best interest for this thing to work. And so both parties wanting it, we'll see.
The bottom line, it's going to stop on Ed Orgeron's desk. If this football team is successful next year and in the years to come, he's going to get the credit. If it bottoms out or they don't do what people want them to do, he's going to get the blame. Mm-hmm. So
and if he gets the blame, Joe Oliva gets the blame as well.
Right. He's rolling the dice, but I think it goes back to a comment you made a few minutes ago. If you want to be in a foxhole, you want your people in there. You want your guys in there.
I don't fault him. I don't fault him at all. Let's just get it work. Develop a quarterback and let that quarterback be a player. Due to Miles Brennan or Lowell Narcisse, whoever it may be, what Georgia's offensive coordinator did to Jake Fromm, what Alabama's offensive staff did with Tua, then you're okay.
And a few other people around the country.
Then you're okay.
Yeah.
Now, they came up with that Elite 11 group of quarterbacks, and all three of those, Miles Brennan, Fromm, and Tua were in there. Tua was ranked number 1. Miles Brennan was number 5. Fromm was number 10 in high school out of that elite camp. So something must be there. Let's see.
And that would match going back to power football. Now, let's point this out. Ed Orgeron, last summer, when he made the binder and he wanted to be the coach, we're going to change the offense.
We need a spread offense.
We're going to spread it out. We're going to throw it around. We're going to bring it up to date with what college football is doing now. Here we are 7 months later, it's another tune. He's saying, we got to go to power football.
Isn't it politics reigns supreme in Louisiana? You say what you need to say to get the job. And then you go do what you want to do.
You said a mouthful right there. So that's it. And it's going to be.
But look, folks. There's no two people wanted to succeed more than we do. I mean, I got my diploma from there. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears. I want to see them successful. So I'll support it. Go, Steve. Go get it. Go do what you got to go do.
And I'll say this. I've said this for decades. I did not go to LSU, okay? I talk on the radio. I talk on the TV. I'd much rather talk about LSU winning championships, doing great things, than talking about LSU firing coaches. I've had to talk about both in the 20-something years I've been around here. But I prefer the good over the bad. So, no, I didn't go to LSU. You did. You played basketball, got your diploma from there, the whole bit.
So here's the question. Right here, right now, on this cold January dreary day in 2018, what do you feel more confident about going forward? The LSU football program or the LSU basketball program?
As of this week, I say LSU basketball.
I think there'd be the majority of people feeling that way.
Yeah, and I made this point on the radio too. No matter who's the coach, no matter who's the offensive coordinator, not everybody's going to be happy. I mean, they could bring Nick Saban back as the head football coach, and there would be people that didn't want that. There really would. There would be people that didn't want that.
You really think so?
I don't think a long line.
You think so?
Well,
you better reevaluate
maybe I'm
that
being
one.
Stupid there. All right, let me use another example.
Yeah,
Other than Nick Saban, no matter who was named coach, there'd be people that say, "Oh, that ain't good. That ain't gonna work."
That I can go with.
You go with. I needed to restructure my comment.
I'll talk about Nick. They would like, come on in,
Mr. Holmberg, get me to restructure my comment.
That.
But hey, that's why we sit here and do this. Well, sometimes we
5 championships in 9 years. I always wonder if he never left, how many championships? Because you know one thing for sure, nobody's coming in this state like Alabama has in the past and getting the top prospects out of here. So with all the talent here and his ability, how many championships would LSU have right now if that son of a gun never left?
I'll say this, something I texted you earlier this week. Every college football player that Nick Saban signed since 2000 at either LSU or Alabama and stayed at least 3 years, won at least one national championship. Now, that includes some guys in 2007, Les Miles' team at LSU, Matt Flynn and his others
point.
who Saban signed but won a title at LSU as he spun off to the Miami Dolphins. So, when you think of that, every player that he signed that stayed 3 years has won at least one national title in the last 17, 18 years, which tells me now I don't have to wonder why he can recruit, because he can just drop that stat on the kitchen table and say, come on.
Everybody talks about him getting $11 million a year. That was for one season. He's going
That's
back
this year. He goes back to 9.
Goes
Yeah,
back
he
to
takes a
8 or 9.
cut,
So does
yeah.
he get another? Does he get another bump? I mean, seriously.
I swear I thought about this the other day. I got to believe Nick Saban might say, if Gruden gets $100 million, I want 101. I want 101 million. Or if Fisher can get 75, I want 76.
And he's worth every penny. Are they going anywhere? Did you see late in the game, the freshman quarterback throws to the freshman wide receiver from Amite, and they kept handing the ball off to that freshman running back named Harris, number 22. Starting left tackle, the left tackle that came in and played most of the whole game, freshman. It's ridiculous.
As you watched that game
ridiculous.
Monday night, did you think LSU could beat either one of them football teams today?
It reminded me so much of LSU Alabama 2011 in the Superdome at halftime. Alabama hadn't done a thing. Jalen Hurts hadn't done anything.
What was
Jordan
it, like
Jefferson
9-0 or something at half.
13 zip.
Is it 13 zip?
Jordan Jefferson hadn't done anything. They go into halftime and Nick Saban goes, "You're out. You ain't played a dime, but you're going in because I believe in you and you're going to win us the game." Jared Lee, stick your butt on the bench. You ain't coming in here. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is, as Yogi would say, it's deja vu all over again.
Well, he took a guy in Hurts who was 25-2 as a quarterback and said, "You're out."
He's 26-2 as a starter because he was started the game.
Right.
And the kid's going to have to transfer. No,
he's going to be a running back.
Yeah, he's going to change positions.
He's going to be a tailback.
He's going to change positions.
Because a couple of their other guys
He may be a
have left.
linebacker.
I can see him as a defensive end.
Or safety. Strong safety. Oh.
He's probably not fast enough to be a wide receiver, but he can be a slot
He's
back.
deceptively fast.
Run the Wildcat.
He's going to tell Nick, whatever it takes to get into the NFL, I trust you.
Right.
Go.
Yeah, and he's going to end up being a strong safety like a friend of ours, Tommy Wilcox.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
He ended up being an All-American in strong safety years ago. But anyway, from Bonneville, everybody knows.
No, I didn't think LSU could compete with either one of those.
Yeah, but
But then there weren't many teams that could compete with either one of those.
So anyway, we got a lot to kick around with that. And then, of course, Darius Geis did make it official shortly after the Ensminger announcement that he was headed off to the NFL.
The 15th is the deadline. The most important thing, all those players, we knew they were going. Dante Jackson, Tolliver, Arden Key. We knew all that.
Weathersby.
And the key is Clapp and Brumfield. If you can keep those two, now you got some stability on the offensive line. You've got some depth. You've got some experience. Those are the two keys to me.
We got a bunch of stuff
they'll be back.
on the program for you tonight. We got some LSU players. We got some other stuff. We got a little bit on LSU gymnastics. Dee Bro, once again, #1 in the nation, huh?
Nearly 11,000 people for the opener.
She's the
11,000.
Nick Saban of gymnastics, huh?
No.
She looks better than Nick.
Oh, she doesn't have that trophy.
She's
come
get
close.
CD, you go get it this year.
Close.
And of course, we got to talk about your New Orleans Saints. Saints fans have to really get a straw and suck it up this weekend and pull for the Falcons. So the NFC title game could be in New Orleans. Should the Saints also take care of
Saints Vikings, man, that's got going to be the best game of the weekend.
Two completely different teams than played back on September the 11th.
Adrian Peterson that was the big storyline. How many yards is Adrian Peterson going to get against his old team?
I know more about the Saints roster than I do about the Vikings roster, but I guarantee the 53 men that lined up for the Saints that day, there's probably 30 of them, 32 of them that'll line up, 34
All
maybe.
I know is Devontae Harris was playing corner, and Sam Bradford threw it his way every play.
So-
Devontae Harris ain't playing no more, is he?
We got a bunch of stuff for you tonight. We know LSU's tangling with Arkansas and Fayetteville right now. We'll also have a bunch of LSU basketball stuff for you tonight as well. We won't have a final score before we get off the air, but you know the drill on that. And don't forget, if you missed this on Wednesday night, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can catch it on mid-morning Thursday. It gets put up there. Replays on Pelican and the ETEL cable system. Let's take a break, come back. We got some more stuff for you right here on this week's edition of Tigers Roar. He's Jordy Hultberg. I'm Tommy Christ saying spread the roar. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
Accord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Accord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Accord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Accord Eye Clinic, Vision Source.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University and the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
Hi, I'm Jordy Hultberg for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve Steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property. Come see this community, which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. Twitter account is @Pelican Sports. And, of course, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. And you can check us all out. A lot of programs we do. The Roger Cador Show, Sports Shorts, of course, Tigers Roar, and much, much more. Available at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Jordy, we had the news of Ansminger. We'll continue to talk about that. But shortly thereafter, it becomes official. Darius Geis, number 5, becomes the 5th Tiger to officially declare for the NFL Draft. 5th in school history with a couple of donuts, over 3,000 rushing yards. Projected to be a late first-round pick, early second-round pick in the NFL draft later this spring. No surprise.
No.
It's official. People can stop wondering now.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that he got that many yards. He was backing up Leonard Fournette, hardly played at all. Then Fournette gets hurt. He gets his big entranceway, and then he was hurt throughout the course of this season. So you really didn't get to see the full Darius Geis, but ran hard, as they said, ran angry. And you know, if he goes to the right team, we'll see. Fournette's had a heck of a year as a rookie running back, and Geis, I think he's better coming out of the backfield catching the football. I think he gives you a different type of style. I think he'll be very successful.
No, you're right. Fournette has done a lot better than some people thought he would. Got Jacksonville into the divisional round of the playoffs.
You know what he's thinking? He's thinking, is Les Miles coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars? Everywhere he goes, he has a terrible quarterback. Blake Bortles can't throw it in the ocean.
They won a playoff game.
They won it not because of him. Jeez.
Because of their defense.
Because of their
They got
defense.
an incredible defense.
They're stacking the box against Fournette just like it was in college. I'm like, man, this poor guy, he's got no luck at all, but he's got a lot of money. But
So he's the fifth Tiger, and as you said a little while ago, none of them are a surprise. Arden Key, Kevin Tolliver, Toby Weathersby, Dante Jackson, maybe a little surprise there. I think of the five, and Geis, but of the five, he's probably got the least chance to be successful at the next level. He's small, can't cover nobody. You know, man-to-man's prevalent in the NFL, so
Yeah.
he's got to go to somebody that plays zones more than not, so we'll have to see. And then you got a couple other guys, Caleb Roddy, Xavier Lewis have left the program. All programs lose players in January.
well, they want to play and they see the handwriting on the wall. That's
Yeah,
not
I
going
mean,
to happen.
that's no big deal there. It just allows the coaching staff to shuffle a few things around. Now, the recruiting period, it's no longer a dead period.
Right.
They got 5 big-time visitors
Yep.
coming in this weekend. We know they
Couple
can
of-
sign 4 on February 7th, but they've got
a quarterback, a wide receiver,
who
and some
probably
defensive
will
players.
be glad to know who the offensive coordinator is.
Yeah, that's
and
the
they got
reason.
some quarterbacks. They need quarterbacks.
They got a kid
gotta
from
get
Tennessee.
at least
They
2
got a-
with these 4 spots left.
They got to get they need cornerbacks, and they're hoping for Patrick Surtain and some kid from Missouri.
Right.
But they picked up a quarterback from transfer from Tennessee Tech.
Camp arm.
Oh, no question about that. And they want Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from Rummel. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be an important weekend. 1 month, basically 1 month away from National Signing Day.
What are you going to do without the bash?
If they
I don't know. I mean,
I haven't
can't-
heard anything.
Can't imagine they're going to have one for 4 people.
I jokingly said, you know, after the early signing period that the bash may turn into a happy hour, but you know, I don't know. I haven't heard any plans from
can't
the Tiger
fathom
Gridiron Club. Of course, we here at Pelican have been a part of that for a long time, and I haven't heard any plans yet on what may or may not happen with the bash. And obviously,
I missed the days when it was in the field house.
the Carl Maddox Fieldhouse. Jerry DiNardo had the very first one,
Gary Dar did a lot of things that were original. He started the Bengal Bells.
which are still going.
Still going. He started the recruiting bash, which is still going until I can't imagine him having it now. He did a lot of good things. Anyway,
But here's the other thing, okay? There's no guarantee that this early signing period remains. It was met with a lot of negative feedback from coaches, okay? Coaches will go to the powers that be, and it's kind of, hey, we got to get rid of this. So maybe there could be life for the bash in the future if, for whatever reason, they did away with the early signing period. I know it's tough to put something in and then pull it back.
they need to have it in the practice
Is it going to have it
facility.
next year again, the early signing period? But who knows going forward?
They need to have it in the in the football complex over there on the inside stadium, inside arena, and have the bash there.
Yeah, well, it's got to be small.
And Ed would say you just walk out of his office, do his little spiel, and get out of there.
Well, and in the past bunch of years, due to the explosion of the internet and social media, there wasn't as much mystery at the bash. I can remember years ago when literally that paper would come off the fax machine and they'd announce it, and people would give a roar because they weren't real sure if that particular kid was going to come or not. So, I mean, there's a lot of that out there, too.
What if Jalen Hurts says, I'm going to transfer, I want to come to LSU? Do they save a spot for him?
He'd have to sit out a year, but I would think you do.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. We mentioned that earlier, whether he stays or goes. But I think he's going to do what you said.
I think he's going to change
Coach
positions.
Saban, what's my best path to the NFL?
All right, you got me for one more season. Let's go.
And Saban may give him a path. Who knows?
Saban kind of likes defense, doesn't he?
Well, we'll see what happens with
Anyway,
that.
anyway.
All right, so again, you got Ensminger in, you got Geis gone.
Jerry Sullivan in.
Is that official?
Not yet, but that's going to be.
Well, they would have waited there.
And McMahon.
Let the spotlight be on
That's right.
Ensminger.
And then McMahon will be the special teams coordinator. And
Well, there's
so
one more they got to hire, right? Pete Jenkins left. Somebody
Jenkins
else
left.
took his title, but
Meatball Johnson took his
but
title.
he's still got to get another
Still
body.
get
in
another
there.
body, and I think that's going to be a linebacker coach, which I think Dave Aranda will have the say in as far as who is that's going to be.
Okay.
All right, so in other words, there are all these openings. It looks like they stayed within the building, and that's fine. It's all if it's all about trust and belief in your staff, and that's the way he wants to go. I have no problem with it at all. I just want to see him succeed.
Yep. If you're an LSU fan, you got to support the
Nationwide,
school, the team, the program.
nationwide, and who cares about that? But nationwide, everybody's going, what are they doing? What is that? It's the best they can do? Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Proof will be in the pudding next fall. If they're
Absolutely.
if they're 3-4,
Develop a quarterback.
criticism will be raining in.
Develop a
If they're
quarterback.
5-2, 5-1, the people will forget
Look,
all
they,
the other.
they
Everybody
open,
loves the winner.
They open up with Miami. Miami's going to be
That's
it's
on
gonna
a
be
Sunday night,
good
by the way.
ball club. Then they have Southeastern. Then they go to Auburn. Stidham's back. Gus Malzahn's on the record for saying, I think I've got everything we need to compete for a national
They're the
championship.
highest ranked team with 4 losses from this year, too.
Yes, they got that. They get Georgia at home, Alabama at home. The swing games to me are Mississippi State. How are they going to be with that new coach? They got Nick Fitzgerald back. What kind of an impact is Dan Mullen going to make quickly at Florida? They can't be any worse than they were.
No.
They've got to be better. What's going to happen with Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M? LSU's never lost to A&M since they came into the SEC. Jimbo Fisher goes there. What's going to happen there? A lot of question marks, a lot of ifs, ands, and nuts and buts. But, boy, it's a daunting schedule. Daunting schedule.
Toughest. I got to do a little more research on this, but clearly the toughest schedule in a long, long time.
With a new quarterback starting for the first time, new wide receivers, new starting running back,
New offensive coordinator.
new offensive coordinator. Defense ought to be fine.
I would, yeah.
Ought to
I
be
would think the
fine.
defense would be fine.
Offense, we'll see.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We're going to shift gears a little bit, talk about some good things happening on the hardwood.
Oh, good.
Trey Waters, how about that guy, huh? We'll talk about that and some LSU hoop stuff right
Twice.
after this pause on Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service. 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
Relief Window. Experience Relief Window.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy plank, or siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Relief Windows.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Jody Hultberg, Tommy Christ, and Steve Ensminger is the offensive coordinator. Darius Geist officially declared for the NFL. LSU basketball tangling with Arkansas as we speak up in Fayetteville. Let's talk some LSU hoops, and we're going to start with Trey Waters. Player of the week for the second time in the Southeastern Conference. 2 plus 30-foot shots down the stretch at the buzzer in the win against Texas A&M. 21 points, 18 points against Arkansas. Jordy, you told me, many, many weeks ago, this kid's a real deal. Not the biggest guy on the floor, but a guy can play some basketball, and he has been a spark for Will Wade's team.
My coach, Dale Brown, said, look at the point guards in LSU basketball history. Pistol Pete, Chris Jackson, Ethan Martin, Derek Taylor. You got to put Tremont Waters in there already as number 5. Great ball handler. What's ironic about this is sometimes you get lucky. Those shots that he made against A&M were out of this world. The shot they missed against Kentucky to tie it, Brandon Sampson, was actually a better look and an easier shot to take. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. But this kid is not afraid of the moment, and he captivates the moment. He wants it, and he came through, so good for him. Now, I don't know what the outcome's going to be tonight against Arkansas, but if you could have told me before the season started, with the schedule that LSU has, starting off with Kentucky, then going to Texas A&M, then going to Arkansas, and then home against Alabama. If you could be 2 up and 2 down after that, would you take it?
Yes,
say absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So they're 1-1. If they can split the next 2 and be 2-2, that'd be fine. That'd be great. Really would.
Keep in mind they were picked 14th in the
Yes.
SEC. There's no East and West division. They put them all in there together. You made reference, I want to mention, last week, January 5th, the 30-year anniversary of the passing of Pistol Pete Maravich, somebody who
way too young.
You and I grew up trying to dribble the ball behind our back because of Pete Maravich.
I became good friends with him, and I remember sitting in an airport, traveling with LSU basketball to go do a game, and I remember the news while we were in the airport. I couldn't believe it. So, 30 years ago. Wow.
I remember, he was coaching in the Biddy basketball program that I was running in the rec department. So fortunately, I got to know him pretty well. And I could tell a million stories, but I'm going to tell one that kind of sums up a lot of things. And you can directly relate to this. Pete Maravich told me one day, sitting in his house, he said, I came out of college in 1969. I dribbled the ball behind my back. I dribbled it between my legs. I threw a fancy pass, and they called me a hot dog.
Yeah.
He said 10 years later, a guy comes out of East Lansing, Michigan, named Irvin Johnson, and he throws it behind his back, dribbles it between his leg, makes a fancy no-look pass, and they called it magic.
Yeah.
That kind of sums it up.
He was ahead of his time, and still to this day, the greatest college basketball player I've ever seen. And I know Alcindor and Walton and all that, but from a pure perspective of skills, entertainment, the whole 9 yards, there was none better.
44.2 points per night over 3 years with no three-point line.
And no shot clock. A lot of teams held the ball. Tennessee would hold the ball, and
yeah. So anyway, wanted to give that mention. That occurred since our last edition
Rest in
of
peace, Pete.
Tigers Roar. Man, it's amazing. All right, back to Will Wade and his team. Again.
Look, they've changed things up. They've really gotten more effective defensively. They've held the last 5 opponents that they've played below their points per game average. A&M was missing some players, but still, when you do it 5 games in a row and you limit Kentucky and you limit A&M to 10 points below their scoring average, you're doing something right. And Will Wade came out and told me, he said, we're actually playing 4 against 5. We're finding the weak link in the other team. If he doesn't score well or shoot it well, we're not going to guard him. And against Texas A&M, they didn't guard the point guard. They put Tremont Waters in the lane to stop dribble penetration, and it worked. Arkansas is a different beast. Alabama's a different beast. But there's the score, and they've got Arkansas tonight. They've got Alabama at home this Saturday. That's a 7:30 tip. And then Georgia, another very good basketball team. Look, the league is much, much better. My bracketologist, Shelby Most with the USA Today, has 9 SEC teams in the tournament today. If the tournament started today, he's got 9 teams, and LSU is under consideration. So that says a lot. So it's a tough league, and what a dramatic win against A&M.
If they can go 500 in the league, they're in the tournament.
Yes, because they beat Michigan. That's a quality win.
Memphis
they
on the road.
Well, Memphis not so. Memphis is
But it's
going
on
to
the
struggle.
road, though.
But
It's on the road.
Houston is a big win, and A&M's a big win. And they played Kentucky close, within a shot. So those things add up.
Yeah, so again, tangling with Arkansas as we speak. Couple of home games coming up. They've been getting good crowds, and I know you, for one, are glad to see that.
Oh, my God, yes. Well, Kentucky, you're always going to get a good crowd for Kentucky. Always. Everybody who's anybody wants to be seen goes to those games. The question is now what's going to happen if they would lose tonight. What happens for the Alabama crowd? We'll see. School is back in session, so the students might be there.
And we got a little piece for you on an LSU A&M game. We'll get to that in just a second. But what a game that was on the road. As you said, Billy Kennedy, New Orleans native, Holy Cross Southeastern guy, was missing a few guys. But hey, that doesn't matter. They're on the road
Nobody's
against
feeling
College
sorry for you.
Station.
That's
Yeah,
right.
nobody's. They're now
And look,
0-4 in the league.
they were 0-2 at the time, so that was an important game. They lost that one, then they went to Rupp Arena and lost late by one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. With that being said, this LSU team is doing a little better than some people thought. We all knew he couldn't wave a magic wand. They weren't going to win the SEC this year. But if they can keep it up and continue to mature and make it all come together,
I think Tremont Waters surprised even him. I think he's better than what they expected him, particularly as a freshman. Now, look, there's scouting reports out there now, and you're going to start seeing some more gimmick things being because they want the ball out of his hands. So anytime there's a high screen that they do, you're going to see an instant double team to get the ball out of his hands and make somebody else play with it. But Waters
adjustments.
He's so good with the ball in his hands. He'll improvise. He'll figure out a way. He's good.
All right, we got some comments here following that nice win on the road against the Aggies in Texas A&M. Here's a little wrap-up of that basketball game.
Josha Morelos dumps it off to Davis, lays it up and in. Every time Billy Kennedy comes out, obviously Hogue, Davis involved in the play. Waters into the lane. Reese going to try 3, short. A&M slows it down. Good decision.
Yeah, great decision. They didn't have a shot. A hit ahead by Caldwell. Good catch by Hogue. Nothing there. Now you're down to about 12, 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Davis down low.
Davis on the baseline. Now LSU's really got to hurry.
Yep.
Waters, deep 3. He got it! From almost 30 feet.
Ran the clock down, and the quick jump hook by Davis And partner, you said they've got to hurry, and the Waters, my goodness, only about on the season for the foul line. Hogue could come to the ball where they got Davis. 66% free throw shoot.
Trying to avoid that fate on the road today. And Davis gives LSU life.
Yeah.
Shoot it okay from deep. Davis missed them both. LSU, a three could win it.
And Waters will come on speed. Watch for the kickouts.
He gives it up, and a timeout taken by LSU with 3 seconds to play. You don't think that's the direction they're headed?
I think Waters or Mays will have it in their hand.
Brandon Sampson will inbound. He's guarded by Tony Trocha-Morelos. Waters, deep three for the win. He got it! Wow! Wow! 0.3 of a second remaining. Are you kidding me? Tremont Waters, deep three.
We expected Waters to get it and maybe take a bounce. Oh, he did take, but still.
0.3 of a second remaining. They're actually going to go back and put 0.4 on the clock, so 0.7 of a second remaining. That's what the officials are doing, looking at the clock. LSU, or excuse me, Texas A&M is taking their final timeout.
So what would be the biggest shock defensively if you had to guard somebody? He's got 3 seconds. As he came down the floor in this first one, you thought this game is over at the pace he was playing, and he pulled up, knocked it in. And a sideline play that catching it the free throw line. Brandon Sampson, an extremely high jumper.
Epps guards the inbound, long pass ahead. Davis gets it off, but he's offline. LSU comes into College Station and steals one on the road, 69-68 over Texas A&M. What a game.
Remarkable
Jordy,
shot.
is that
Remarkable.
the biggest win to date in Will Wade's tenure? Because A&M was ranked as high as number 11 a couple weeks ago.
No
so
question.
Especially being on the road.
SEC game on the road in the fashion in which he won it. And I asked him, I said, where does that one rank all time? He said, that's pretty high. It's pretty high up there. So
All right,
good things happening.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got some very interesting information that we just discovered on the departure of Matt Canada.
Ooh.
And officially,
Ugly.
his last day was Tuesday, yesterday, which means that's why we wondered what was the delay in announcing Ensminger. There really was no delay. We didn't know that Canada's official last day was Tuesday the 9th of this week. So we got some interesting stuff. You don't want to miss it. Excuse me. You don't want to miss it. We'll come back with more.
Got you choked up.
No,
Man.
His head coach. Tigers roar right here on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. Spread the roar. Stay with us.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever
Woodburners, serving South Louisiana since 1977, is a family-owned and operated company with over 30 years of experience. They're the fireplace experts, providing upscale products at an affordable price. Fireplaces, glass doors, wood stoves and stove chimneys, mantles, screens, gas logs, and tool sets. Visit online at woodburnersinc.com. Call 225-752-2590 or stop by 10510 Airline Highway in Baton Rouge.
Hi, I'm Roger Cador. I'm here to tell you about Smith, Shanklin, and Sosa. You won't find them on billboards, but you'll find them in the courtroom where real lawyers are. You see, billboards do not solve cases. Real trial lawyers do. So if you're hurt and need a lawyer, call 225-223-6333.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
We continue with Tigers Roar, and as we mentioned before the last break to hear from good words from some of our good sponsors, interesting story just surfaced in The Advocate by Ross Dellinger. I tell you, Ross covers LSU as good as anybody's
really
done
does.
it forever. I mean,
He
that
really
guy's
does.
spot on 99.9% of the time. We now know why they waited until Wednesday to announce Steve Ensminger, because technically Tuesday the 9th was Matt Canada's final day as an employee at LSU.
Let me read this. Rest your voice for a
ahead.
second. The opening paragraph from Ross, and I'll read it directly. Matt Canada's settlement with LSU could be voided if the former offensive coordinator, quote, interferes, close quote, in the football program's activities, or if he discourages players or staff in the transition to a new coordinator. Something, I mean, you read between the tea leaves there.
I'd heard some rumblings in December. Other people heard it too. He made a comment to a recruit. He was in California recruiting on behalf of LSU. He's still being paid by LSU. Along the lines that, don't go to LSU because I'm not going to be there. Now, if that could have been proven, that may have been cause for dismissal without paying him a dime. But if it was just some hearsay, and then maybe, I don't know. So obviously this is not an amicable split by any stretch of the imagination. And the other provisions in there are amazing.
He's going to be paid $1.7 million of the $3.4 million left on his contract. And the reason for this is he was going to have to defer whatever job he got in the future that would deduct what he was owed by LSU. So he just took kind of basically, it's like when you win the lottery, you take the lump sum. So he took $1 million that will be paid before the end of January. And the school will pay the remaining amount in 20 monthly installments of $35,000, regardless if he gets another job or not. That's guaranteed to him, $1.7 million. But both, in the settlement, both sides, LSU and Canada, agreed on non-disparagement clauses forbidding them from making public statements that defame, disparage, or criticize one another. So there's some dirty laundry out there, and they want to keep it quiet.
They also signed a piece, I read this while we were in break, there can be no future claims or lawsuits. We know when John Chavis left LSU, we ended up with a lawsuit.
Good point.
Okay, over contract disparity. You know, they didn't agree, and we ended up with a suit that was later settled out of court. So based on the report by Ross Dellinger, you got none of that. This is over and done with. Shut your mouth.
Never
Do not talk about it.
Never
at
the
any
twain
point in
shall
time.
meet again. And he is, I think the borders of the state of Louisiana, or at least in Baton Rouge, have been shut forever for Matt Canada.
Talked to Lance Guidry, leave McNeese and go to Florida State. Would McNeese be interested in him as a head coach? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't
because look, that stuff. Keep in mind, Ed Orgeron's got a kid on the team at McNeese, so probably not. But the stuff that's in this, and again, you can go to Advocate Online, read the column by Ross Dellinger.
Here's what I wonder. Can't say anything. Rumors are out there. If Matt Canada wants to coach again, is he going to be asked these questions? Why is it you keep, how come you could only stay there 1 year? What happened?
Well, you can back that up.
And
Quote,
North Carolina
unquote,
State.
run off at North Carolina State for being, not doing what his boss told him to do. There was some friction there. Brett Bielema had him at Wisconsin, didn't take him to Arkansas.
Maybe he needs to go to the Canadian Football League and coach Johnny Manziel or something, and just wide open, let it go. So no, it's very, very interesting. You can think of a million things that why would they have to do this? Why would this have to come out like this? Well, obviously there's some things out there. We don't know what they are, but if he's trying to convince recruits not to come here, that's not good.
Well, we'll probably never know based on the terms of that document unless he gets his 1.7 and starts singing like a canary. But I don't know if it's retroactive. Like if they give him the $1 million check January, the end of the month here, and then on February the 3rd he says something, does he have to give the $1 million back? I guess we'd have to ask Ross.
And there's no
Ross may not
lawsuit.
know.
There's no lawsuit, right? So you can't. I don't know. That's okay. He's getting $1 million. My boy Kevin Sumlin got 10 in 2 months.
We've seen a lot of coaches get fired, head coaches, assistant coaches in a lot of different sports. This one is a horse of a different color.
What kind of perception is there of LSU football here and now, do you think?
By the nation? Mm-hmm. Or you mean about a fan base in here?
Or whatever. What do you think the perception is?
I think there's a lot of question marks about the solid stability of the program. You've had a lot of turnover on the staff, not just the head coach.
Do you think this was a tough thing for Orgeron to sell to Oliva, who had to sell it to the Board of Supervisors? Because they got to pay money for a person not to be there anymore. Do you think it was a tough sell?
I don't think it's a tough sell, because I think if you're Ed Orgeron and you go to whoever and you go, for the best interest of this program, we got to make this move. Unless you tell me 100% we can't, but I'm going to tell you it'll get ugly. Then they're going to say, let's do it.
Yeah. So it all turns out that meeting that Joe Oliva had with Orgeron, Aranda, and Canada, that kind of was the
that meeting was called by Canada. He went like around Ed to Oliva and said, he won't let me do my job. He's interfering. And that's what prompted that meeting. I know that for a fact. Okay. So that, since that point, not that, I don't know.
Well, if he went behind Orgeron's back, I can understand that.
Yeah, I don't know if they were having lunch together before that or not. Obviously, there were a million meetings together for a variety of reasons, whether it's offense, team meetings, recruiting meetings, whatever, staff planning meetings. I mean, they were in the same room a ton of times. But I think that whole thing, the weekend at Troy game, and right after that,
that was it.
Mushroomed into what we get now with the report from Ross.
See, I didn't know that Canada called the meeting. And if he went behind Orgeron's back to the boss. He started
squawking. And all of a sudden, Oliva, as the AD should do, wait a minute, time out.
Yeah.
Let's get the necessary people in the room. Let's talk about this.
I said that at the time. People were appalled that Oliva would call. I thought that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, I think Joe Oliva did the right thing.
He did the right thing. I don't think there's any question.
He's their boss. He says, wait a minute, guys.
We're all in this together. Let's air this out.
He says, you got 60 minutes to be in my office. Turn your phones off. We got to meet.
Yeah. I think he did the right thing. Well, I've never, in all my years, and I've seen a lot of things and heard a lot of things, I've never seen anything quite like this, which always leads you to believe, well, okay, where is this program going? But to Ed Orgeron's credit, he's doing what he thinks is best, not only for the program, for himself. So I hope it works. I really do.
Well, he's the head coach. As we said earlier,
Yeah.
he's either going to get the credit if all this works, and he's going to get the blame if it don't. And he knows that. Ed's not dumb. He knows that.
Are we saying that this schedule is too tough? Is that giving him a fail-safe for next season? What if they go 7-5?
7-5?
7-5.
They went 9-3 this year, lost in the bowl game.
Or let's say they go 8-4.
So I think what you're saying is, do they say, well, that's the toughest schedule they've played in
Yeah,
forever.
is that kind of a
well? But I think aside,
with a new starting quarterback, all these things out there, all these kind of excuses.
Aside from the wins and losses, which is the most important measuring stick, there'll be other measuring sticks. You know, and did you lose at the buzzer? Were you in the game? Were you competing? I mean, there's going to be some other layers.
No clock
to that.
management issues.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we got to let it unfold.
Yeah.
And when we sit here next December, when they have the SEC championship game,
we never even mentioned Dave Aranda.
Well, mention it.
I mean, what's he getting paid now?
2.5 for average 2.5 for 4 years, guaranteed.
Good for him.
$10 million.
That was.
You
that
and I
was
should have stayed in coaching.
That was the most significant thing that they could do. I mean, good for him. Good for him. Get all the money you can. They couldn't let him leave. They knew Canada was gone. They could not lose Aranda to A&M or to the Green Bay Packers or whoever. I'm telling you, if it was $3 million, they may have paid $3 million.
All right, let me ask you this question. We know Texas A&M has more money than anybody in the league. Okay, that's obvious. Probably closely followed by Florida. LSU's got money, but do they have this kind of money to be paying off Les Miles, to be paying off Matt Canada?
I think
other
they probably.
assistants?
I
There's
think they
another
probably
coach or
do.
two. Well,
I think
they
you
pick
get
up the phone and you
get the right people
find it.
together. You can come up with stuff, but it's
And you know, Taft may have some money knocked away for a rainy day too.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. But still,
It's
could not for the image of the university and the program, they could not let Aranda walk out the door. So I promise you, he's got total autonomy. Ed's not sticking his nose in that defensive meeting room, other than just to listen. And I would imagine that Aranda will be able to pick and choose any type of assistant that he wants if people leave or if there's an opening there. I think he'll have a big say in that matter, and good for him. Good for him.
He's the associate head coach, so he might have some other things in his contract.
They may tell him, I'm not going off campus to recruit. I'll stay here and bring him to me.
He's a hard worker. I think. I don't know what
he's a film watcher.
Yeah, so it's,
and he's good at what he does, and his defense is going to have to carry this team early.
I want to go back to your original comment when we started talking about this. The perception of LSU.
What
now.
is the perception?
What does the fan base think? You know, and they're not all going to be happy all the time. We know that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you can give out $100 bills on the corner, and sooner or later somebody will complain about the shade of green. Okay, that's just the way it goes. So, but I think, you know, and it really doesn't matter what people think. It's going to matter if they win football games this fall.
That's
Winning
right.
cures everything.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
But I think the perception is, I'm thinking of this as we discuss it, that they're, you know, middle of the pack in the SEC.
Well, let's take
You
a
got to
look.
think Alabama and Auburn's ahead of them. Georgia's ahead of them.
Last year, everything was going smooth, and then the debacle.
The Troy game.
The debacle. And then it was like, oh, my God, here we go. This thing is doom and gloom. There's no way. Then they go and win some games, right? And they close out the regular season. Everything's fine. Get to play Notre Dame. It's going to be a springboard to next year. Everything's great. Then they lose. They lay that egg at the end of the game. And now it seems like one thing after another, it's the black cloud is hanging over the program. And there are going to be those people that didn't want Orgeron in the beginning that still don't want him now. And there's going to be those other avid purple and gold people. I don't care if you bring Curly Hallman back. They're going to love LSU, and they're going to be 100% positive about everything. And then there's that big group in the middle that fluctuate left and right, back and forth, back and forth. I don't think this is going to go over as a PR success right now, but I truly believe LSU fans in their heart of hearts have their fingers crossed, their toes crossed, that this thing works.
Well, since August 1st, or whenever they reported somewhat, 6 or 7 months ago, it has been a roller coaster. Make Pontchartrain Beach look amateur, okay?
At the beach,
Remember the players that left in August, Tehuma and some other guys, that would have played a lot of snaps, okay? We could say that. And then, up and down, and then they lost to Troy, and then they win against Florida, but now we know Florida was a train wreck. I mean, it's been a roller coaster.
Everybody's going to listen.
On and off the field.
Everybody's going to listen. We're going to have film and sound for next week of Ed Orgeron and spewing and pontificating the greatness of Steve Ensminger. All the stats. He's going to rattle them off. And Tiger Nation's going to go, okay, here we go. And good.
Play the Miami Hurricanes on a Sunday night, September 2, I want to say.
Develop a quarterback, Steve. You were a quarterback. Everybody loved you back in the day because
he played a little bit in Canada, a little bit in the NFL.
You were the passing quarterback. David Woodley was the running quarterback. Everybody loved number 5 because everybody wants to see you pass the ball. Everybody. So he's been around.
To the chagrin of Charles McClendon, he did let Steve throw it.
McNeese, Clemson, Auburn, Georgia. He's been everywhere.
Cup of coffee in the Canadian League with Hamilton, a little bit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Actually was on the Saints roster very briefly. So, he's been there. He's got a resume. I think if he develops a quarterback, the chances of winning will go up.
That's the key. That is the key. You got to get a quarterback. You got to get a quarterback that can play, and they believe that they have it in Brennan and Noel Narcisse, 2 different types of quarterbacks, which I really never have understood, but we'll see.
Going to be interesting.
We'll see.
Do want to mention each and every week we've been having Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com to share some recruiting info and some of his thoughts on LSU. Mike, unavailable tonight, is scheduled to join us again next week. We come back, we're going to kick a few other things around for you right here on Tigers Roar. Spread the roar on Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
It's a male plan. He knows who no one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Woodburners, serving South Louisiana since 1977, is a family-owned and operated company with over 30 years of experience. They're the fireplace experts, providing upscale products at an affordable price. Fireplaces, glass doors, wood stoves and stove chimneys, mantles, screens, gas logs, and tool sets. Visit online at woodburnersinc.com. Call 225-752-2590 or stop by 10510 Airline Highway in Baton Rouge.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.
My name is Dr. Nicole Rogers, and I'm here in Old Metairie, Louisiana at Hair Restoration of the South, where your hair is our care. And I'd like to invite you to come and visit and discuss various options for treatment of thinning hair. These can include both medical and surgical options. You don't have to go straight to surgery. In the meantime, feel free to check out our website, hairrestorationofthesouth.com, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Cypress Lake Apartments are conveniently located off Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, a CLK multifamily management property Come see this community which has many amenities including swimming pools, fitness room, playground, and much more. 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments. Stop by Cypress Lake Apartments, call 225-293-6789, or go online, live at cypresslakeapts.com.
I want to remind you about the radio station WUBR, Pelican Sports, an affiliate of CBS Sports Radio, which brings you the Jim Rome Show. The local lineup with Mr. Hultberg, Mr. Buddy Sanji, myself, Dave Scandaliato. If you like wagering on sports, you need to catch him on a Friday. Saturday mornings, Carlos Brown, the franchise from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And at night, on the weeknights, Louisiana Music Hall of Fame Radio, hosted by Mike Shepard. You can get it on the smartphones, the apps, the computers. Special announcement for you coming soon. Our own app where you'll be able to see radio and TV under construction, as they say. Awesome. And we'll certainly let you know about it as soon as you're able to get it. It'll be free. You can take us with you, your choice of radio, TV, Pelican Sports app coming soon. That's all I can say tonight. Jordy, tell us about your radio show in the Lafayette market.
Each and every day, 2 to 4 p.m. on 103.7 The Game, 103.7thegame.com. Boy, I look younger there, man. That's awesome. Anyway, there you have it. So, yes. What is?
Wait, you got to go with Jordy and I, as we tend to do. We were having some We were having some discussion during a break. That tends to happen now and then around here.
What happens?
You got to tell me what you got to tell the folks what you suggested as a possibility in jest to me when we just got done discussing the Matt Canada separation.
Matt Canada is going to make $1 million at the end of this month. He's going to get 20 months of $35,000. He can go get any job he wants. What if Nick Saban calls and says, "Why don't you come over here and be a consultant for us and cut up tape and give us some ideas
and tell us some LSU secrets."
Tell us some LSU secret. You never know. Maybe Jimbo Fisher brings Matt Canada over to Texas A&M.
People will do anything to get an edge. Okay?
Who knows?
And if they think bringing them in gives them an edge,
Who knows?
money means nothing to Bama and A&M when it comes to paying consultants.
What's your buddy's bonus for winning the national championship at
My
Alabama?
friend, who is it's public record, so I can say it. He's a special team coach and tight end coach for the Crimson Tide in his second stint with Nick Saban. His bonus check for winning the national championship, $67,500 for the
Good for them.
tight ends coach, special teams coach, Joe Panunzio.
What does Saban get? I wonder what he gets. Another
wants.
Mercedes car dealership?
Well, he owns a dealership.
He owns two.
Two. Saban can get what he wants. Were you surprised he got so emotional after? Says the happiest he's ever been in his life. It caught up. The way it happened, I think, got to him.
I'm watching, and he reminded me of Jim Valvano, the late Jim Valvano, when North Carolina State beat Phi Slamma Jamma to win the championship. Valvano runs on the court, and he's looking for somebody to hug. I thought the same thing. Saban, and sure enough, the first person that comes up to him and hugs him is a friend of mine. Lives in Lafayette. Got him on my radio show. Lenny Lemoyne of the Lemoyne Group, who's doing all that construction work on Nicholson Drive and has improved Tiger Stadium. It was remarkable. He's still lifelong friends with Saban, still to this day. Loves LSU. But Saban invited him, gave him a sideline pass, and he's on the field, and that's the first person he hugged.
That's pretty cool. And you had him on the radio.
Had him on the radio.
What did he say? Here comes Nick, and he hugged him?
I said, what did you do? He said, well, I just made a beeline for him. He looked like he needed somebody, and I just ran up and hugged him. That was great.
Right.
I said, you got your mug on TV, too.
Anyway, so that was that. Alabama, 3-1 odds to win the national championship.
Who's going to beat them? Who's going to beat them?
Clemson, Georgia's at 9-2. Clemson, Ohio State are up there. LSU's 30-1. But that came out prior to Ensming's announcement. But I think
LSU finished 17th in the 18th in the polls. And if you took the composite of the way too early polls out there, and you take Athlon and ESPN and Fox and CBS and Tom, Dick, and Harry, put it all together, stick it in the computer, they had them at 17. And they had Alabama 1.
You don't think that's generous?
Alabama 1. They had Miami in there. They had Georgia in there. They had Auburn in there. Those 4 teams were in the top 6. Top 6.
Well, they got 4 teams that they're going to play going to be ranked in the top 10, maybe 11 or 12. You just take a look at it. The final polls, you see LSU in at 18 in both the Associated Press and the coaches poll. The usual names littered throughout there. Central Florida, interesting story. They're getting a lot of publicity.
They got 4 of the 61 total votes for first place.
Which I think is a joke. But I thought they should have been. I could live with them being ranked number 2.
I literally would have put them at number 3, to be quite honest with you.
But you know what? Everybody's making fun of them. Nick Saban said it best. But only thing that means only people that means anything to is them. Mm-hmm. So let them go ahead and do it.
Right.
Okay. And now, of course, Tulane's claiming a national championship in '98 when they went 12-0. They're selling T-shirts. Tulane national
good for them.
If
they can raise some money, good.
They're claiming it all. But what Central Florida is doing with all of that, they could not buy the advertising they're getting for their program.
Oh, you're right.
Nationwide. They don't have enough money to pay for all the social media, the internet, television, radio exposure that they're getting. And I make an analogy. Everybody's at Lane Kiffin, Twitter machine.
And the greatest thing for them.
The best thing ever happened to Florida Atlantic University.
No question.
Aside from hiring Lane Kiffin, was him going nuts on Twitter.
And he gets a 10-year contract out of the deal, and good for him.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Put him on the map.
I laughed at Central Florida, and I'm thinking, well, you know what? Their foolishness might be a genius idea. I mean,
no question. No question.
Man, we'll see if they can.
Scott Frost loved it so much he went to Nebraska.
Yeah, then we'll see if they can sustain that.
I've never heard of that before, where the head coach takes the job at another university, and the university he left lets him coach for their bowl game. I've never heard of that before.
He wouldn't have done it if they weren't going for an undefeated season.
That's right.
They did have one game.
And he did it in such a classy way. The departure and all. And home was calling.
Hey,
so good for him.
They had one
and
game,
won.
They had one game canceled against Georgia Tech for the Hurricane. They beat everybody else they lined up against all year long, including a good Auburn team in the bowl game.
And Jeremy Pruitt coaches the defense for Alabama. And
Off to Tennessee.
He's splitting time with recruiting and doing stuff with Tennessee. Now he's up there, so it can work. It can work. So.
Hey,
and Steve Sarkisian, who's getting booed out the arena, he's got his Falcons still in the playoffs, and they're much better offensively now than they were earlier. He must know what he's doing.
And I think they'll beat Philadelphia Saturday.
I hope so.
Philadelphia handicapped with the backup quarterback. Game's in Philly, so anything can happen. Jordy, let's keep it on the LSU campus.
Yes.
Another story going very well, but it's no surprise either. We got stories, but none of them are surprises. I'm talking about gymnastics. Dee Bro, ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yes, the team who was ahead of them? They got beat. But anyway, regardless, and they've got some big meets coming up down the road, but she's got it going on. There's no question. Continues to recruit, continues to draw crowds, over nearly 11,000 people, the highest season opener in the history of gymnastics. It's just a remarkable, remarkable story of perseverance, continually pestering your bosses. Help me. We want to do this. We want to do this. We want to do this. And now they've got that beautiful facility. It's 41 seasons as the coach.
Wow.
41.
That's mind-boggling.
41.
I was in high school when she got the job.
I was at LSU when she was doing it.
Yeah, I was in high school. I'm a little younger than you.
Straight out of college, she's coaching, and first coach and only coach they have, and they're going to name the building the Dee Bro Building. They got to name it.
I mean, that's
they got to do it. They should have done it already.
That's a no-brainer. And I really hope.
Put a statue of her.
Yeah, put it by the other ones. I really hope that, and I've interviewed her many times.
She needs to win
I
one.
hope she can get that national title. Been so close so many times. Let's hope that the stars line up and they can get that thing later this spring.
I mean, she's working. She is the PR machine. But the main thing that happened, and I spoke to some people that are very close to her. The best thing that ever happened to her when they allowed her to get an assistant coach, and they got Jay Clark. He is the stick that stirs the drink with that program.
We got a little video for you on the gymnastics team, Dee Bro's team out at LSU.
LSU has cemented its name as one of the premier gymnastics programs in the nation. The Tigers have competed in the NCAA Super 6 times in the last decade. LSU first appeared in the pinnacle of collegiate gymnastics in 2008 and then back-to-back in 2009. The Tigers then made another back-to-back appearance in 2013 and 2014. Head coach Dede Bro led the squad to historic finishes as the NCAA runner-ups in both 2016 and 2017. Last season, the Tigers posted a Super 6 and school record 49.725 on balance beam to complete the comeback and secure wins over rivals Florida, UCLA, Utah, and Alabama.
We had a record-setting season opener in terms of attendance, so that was just really awesome. So it was all, I mean, it's fantastic to come in here with all those fans.
I call it my village, but the sports information, the electronic media people, the video, everything that needs to be good and look good comes together, and this is the product. I mean, the band's excited to be here, the team's excited about what they're doing, and the fans get that excitement and kind of catch it, and they understand that this is a young team. We had some kids not vaulting, but like here again, we gave other kids the opportunity to vault and then go to bars, and it was lights out. You know, starting with a freshman that goes and just hits handstands and does everything that she can, and you know, she's only going to get better. So yeah, bars without a doubt was the best.
I thought tonight went really well. It was definitely a really good starting point going into our season. We have a lot of new people on our team, but I mean, clearly it wasn't a bad thing. Everyone did really well. I thought it was really good base point for the season. But we know that we can improve. We know that we can go better, and it's only going to go up from here.
We put Sarah Edwards in on floor at the last minute, and she didn't know she was going to do floor, and we kind of wanted to get her in there. The floor is built around consistency, and Ashlyn Kirby really started us off really well. A lot of energy, and she needs to bring that kind of energy, enthusiasm to start that event off. And floor, they capped it. Everybody, you know, gave it everything they had.
We were really strong on some events, and we know some other events we can work on, but I mean, it was the first meet, and we're gonna keep going, learn from today.
We still went 197 plus, so that's amazing for any team on any season opening night. January 5th, I mean, the New Year League just happened. So yeah, I think we can only go up from here for sure.
What a
And
crowd.
again,
What a crowd.
After back-to-back national runner-ups, let's hope she can cross that line. Some young team members right now, but perhaps they can, if they don't get it this year, they can get it real soon.
Thank you. That's the kind of crowd they had for LSU Kentucky basketball, and she does that every meet at home. It's remarkable.
It's truly a remarkable story, no question about that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the New Orleans Saints.
Who dat?
Who dat?
Redemption. Both teams have redemption. Pigs are flying. Hell is frozen over. Saints are going to the Super Bowl. Who'd they beat? Minnesota. Who was their quarterback? Brett Favre. Yep. Knocked him out of the league. That was it.
That was about it.
Now the Saints get to try.
Garrett Hartley with the field goal.
Pigs have flown.
We're
Hell is
come
frozen
back,
over.
Bunch of Saints.
The Saints are
stuff for
going
you.
to the Super Bowl.
The other NFL playoffs. Hey, they'd love to know they're making 3 trips to Minneapolis this year.
That would be fabulous.
That would mean they're going up there for the Super Bowl on February 4th. Super Bowl is February 4th.
Can't wait.
Mardi Gras is very early this year.
Very early.
February 13th.
Yeah. Same day as, isn't it Valentine's Day?
The next day.
The next, that's.
A lot of hangovers.
Easy, buddy, easy.
Watch it.
Watch
the
rotation.
We'll take a break, come back, some NFL, some New Orleans Saints. Jordy Hultberg, Tommy Christ says, spread the roar. You're watching Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. Stay with us.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
Hooper Road Car Care in Central has been serving customers for over 24 years. Locally owned by Donald and Gina Gaspard, they provide all types of car care, including brakes, alignment, tune-ups, oil changes, AC service, transmission, computer diagnostic, and much more. Hooper Road Car Care also provides towing services. Call 225-262-7127. Open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, 9695 Hooper Road in Central.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
My name is Raven. I work at Debbie's Bridal and she makes your dreams come true.
Hello. Hola.
你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue with Tigers Roar again. Steve Ensminger, officially the offensive coordinator at LSU press conference on Thursday. Darius Geis officially declaring for the NFL draft. 5th Tiger player to officially declare following Arden Key, Kevin Tolliver, Toby Weathersby, and Dante Jackson. Speaking of football, the New Orleans Saints having a very good year after 3 straight 7-9s, and they ended up with a bunch of guys in the Pro Bowl, which would equate to having a very good year.
Yep.
As they've got 6 guys in the Pro Bowl, of course, led by Drew Brees, a couple of rookies in Lattimore and Kamara, Cam Jordan, obviously, Mark Ingram. First time 2 running backs from the same team since 1970.
Michael Thomas.
Terry
Yes.
Metcalf and Jim Otis of the old Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals, that's
so
right.
6 Saints in the Pro Bowl, but it'll be a good problem they can't play in a game.
That's right.
Because the game is the Sunday between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So the Saints would love to know that they had to miss the Pro Bowl.
That would be awesome. They get to go back to Minneapolis, and remember the season opener? A lot of things were different then. 29-19, the final. Sam Bradford torched the Saints. Devontae Harris was the starting quarterback. Marshawn Lattimore was baptism by fire. Adrian Peterson was your running back. Dalvin Cook ran for over 130 yards against the Saints. He's out. Bradford's out. Case Keenum has done a remarkable job. Take nothing away from him. He's 11-3 as the starting quarterback. They've got a phenomenal defense, number 2 in the league against the run, number 2 in the league against the pass, number 1 overall. But Saints are completely different. Defense completely different. That Kamara-Ingram matchup, we'll see what happens against Minnesota. But, boy, if they can win this one, they're in the conference championship game, and that game would either be in Philadelphia or at home in New Orleans.
And if they win. At home is against the Falcons. You see it on your screen, 3:40 kickoff, the 4th of the 4 games on the weekend, so you'll know the results of all the others with the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you happen to be traveling to Minneapolis for the game.
Thank God it's indoors.
Yeah, thank goodness it's indoors. Look at the weather forecast. 7 degrees, -1 degree, wind chill in the -30s. Good thing that game's indoors. Let me tell you. It reminds you of the old Metropolitan Stadium, Bud Grant.
Both teams on the same sideline.
Yeah.
Look,
the Vikings, the Purple People Eaters.
When I did the Hornets games, of course, we traveled to Minneapolis. They did the greatest thing ever in their downtown area. They made elevated walkways between buildings. You never had to go outside. You'd leave your hotel.
Oh, they were covered.
A concourse area between every building downtown. Go across the street, everywhere. It gets too cold.
Didn't have to put the
Didn't have to
snow
go
boots
outside.
on.
You could go walk around in shorts and a T-shirt. Freezing cold. Freezing cold.
Yeah, so anyway, so the game will be indoors, and of course, if they win, the next one will be indoors in the Superdome.
And I value the fact that they played there already, and they know what they're facing, because the season opener was on Monday Night Football, packed house. It's going to be the same way for the playoff game. The experience that they've had there, the fact that these young pups have grown up. Drew Brees, Carolina did everything they could to not let Kamara and Ingram beat them, so they said, okay, pick your poison. We'll see if Brees still has it. How good was he?
Yeah.
How good was he?
And look, we know the Saints fans are great. Minnesota, huge football tradition. Yeah, they lost 4 Super Bowls under Bud Grant, but they love. There's not that much else to do up there at this time of the year. They love Vikings football.
One of those Super Bowls that you go to, I saw down at Tulane Stadium against Hank Stram and the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe Kapp was the quarterback.
You want to hear a great story about that game?
I know I walked up and bought tickets the day of the game.
About
$25.
$25?
$25.
All right, I did some radio work with Hank Stram back in the late 80s in Covington.
Matriculate the ball up the field.
Trey Blossman's station, WARB. And Hank told me this story, and I'm going to shorten it here. The night before the Super Bowl, he and his coaches are in the hotel room going over his last-minute things, and like his guy, his PR guy, whatever, comes to him and says, Coach, Roone Aldridge is on the phone. He wants to talk to you. He goes, I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. Tell him to get away. 30 minutes later, he comes back and says, Coach, Roone Aldridge, who was the executive director of NBC Sports, whoever was doing the game, he wants to talk to you. And he said, and Hank gets mad. He's like, tell him I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. I'm not talking to him. We're working. So finally, the third time, he comes back and Coach Stram says, well, I got to get on the phone. So he gets on the phone with Roone Aldridge, and this is late at night. The Super Bowl's the next day, and Roone said, they were good buddies. He says, Coach Stram, he says, I got an idea. And he says, what's that? And he says, I want to put a microphone on your jacket so we can get some audio. And Hank Stram's answer was, I have a better idea. Call Bud Grant and ask him to do that, because he wanted to have nothing to do with it. Yeah. Lo and behold, Roone Aldridge convinced him to do it, and we still see those replays of him talking on the sidelines, matriculate the ball down the field. Attaboy Lenny.
Yeah, Dawson to Otis Taylor, tiptoes down the sideline for the touchdown. Garrett running the ball. Oh, yeah.
His answer was, I got a better idea. Call Bud Grant, the Viking coach, and ask him if he wanted to do it. But lo and behold, Hank did do it. So
Bud Grant has a garage sale every year in Minneapolis, and he sells stuff. All of his old Viking stuff. Year after year, it raises a ton of money. Ridiculous.
Well, what was it? You know, he would not let heaters on the sideline when he coached in Minnesota. Yeah. And it was a couple years ago, and they were playing at the University of Minnesota Stadium, waiting on this other building to be done. And he was like the ceremonial coin toss guy, and it's like 10 degrees, and he had short sleeves on. Short sleeve
military
shirt,
cut.
and he walked right out there to flip the coin. Everybody else is just bundled up like crazy.
Grant.
But he would not let his players have heaters on the sidelines. He said they had to be tough.
The Purple People Eaters.
And, Mooney Winston, former LSU Tiger, was on all those teams, and they had some good football teams. They lost 4 Super Bowls, couldn't get over.
But he got there. They and the Buffalo Bills.
And if Minnesota can beat the Saints and move on, it'd be the first team ever, this is Super Bowl 52,
to host.
To play the Super Bowl on their home field.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
I hope that record is continues onward and upward.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
It'd be good.
All right, we got some Drew Brees and Sean Payton for you, talking about the win over the Panthers and the upcoming matchup with the Vikings. Here's New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton and quarterback Drew Brees.
They did a great job. Yeah, I mean, it's 4th down, so you're going to throw the ball up and give your guys a chance. Actually, glad he intercepted it and gave them, pushed them about 20, 25 yards back. So it actually worked out to our advantage.
Are you thinking that as you're rolling?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's don't throw a pick that they can return for a touchdown, but if there's guys in a bunch, hey, maybe you get a PI, maybe your guy goes up and makes the play. So yeah, that's a ball that has to be thrown. Josh Hill's one of those guys that's just as steady as can be, and does such a great job with his role. There's some games where, we're asking him to block that D gap or, be really effective in protection, right in the run game, and then obviously, might have some opportunities in the pass game, might not. Just kind of have to wait and see how it plays out. But he's a very good receiver. Came up with a big catch in that 2-minute drive as well. you know, Josh and I have had a lot of time together, you know, and so there's a great rapport there. There's a great understanding, and you know, that was a pass play where, you know, kind of a tight window to put that ball, and yet he knows exactly where it's coming, and he's able to come up with a big catch that keeps that drive going, and we end up getting 7 points on that one as well. Oh, listen, that was huge. That was huge. No, because they stopped us on the first two drives, and then for us to come up with that big play, I think it just kind of blew the whole thing wide open. I think it broke the seal for us offensively, and obviously got the crowd rolling. You try to enjoy as many of these moments as possible because, you know, it's not going to last forever. And certainly these are the memories that you hang on to, and especially in big games like this. You know, when you're talking playoffs, when you're talking taking the next step forward to achieving your ultimate goal. Listen, it was great. You know, if you can't enjoy the good times, you know, in this league, then might need to get out. Because obviously there's plenty of struggle, there's plenty of adversity. So, you know, we got a fun-loving group, and that's why I love coming to work every day, because I get the chance to be in the locker room with those guys.
How special was it to have all those guys back?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. You know, all those guys, you know, former teammates of mine, and you know, the list gets fewer and fewer of the guys that are still on this team that, you know, played with that group. But obviously, you know, Joe Vitt probably had one of the best sayings, you know, way back when he said, you know, you win a Super Bowl, you walk together forever. And we accomplished that. And you feel like there's a brotherhood that will always be there. And, you know, guys live in different parts of the country. They have their families, they have their lives, they have all this stuff going on. You may not talk to them for a long time, and yet when you get back together, it's as if no time has passed. And that's the way it was yesterday, seeing all those guys and seeing them later tonight. And you know, that's the way it is. There's a brotherhood there, there's a kinship that can never be broken.
Place is going wild. What's that like for you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. We got the best fans in the world. I know everybody says that, but we really do. And this venue, this atmosphere that's created here, you know, when we're rolling like we have been in the past, and certainly the last 2 games here at home, our fan base has created an electric atmosphere.
Do you recall what went through your mind immediately after Von Bell's sack?
Hey, we won. Feels good. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, especially a team as prideful as the Panthers, and we got a lot of respect for those guys. Got a lot of respect for that coach and that defense, and you know, we always have battles with those guys. So we knew this was going to be an extremely tough task. We knew we needed to play a near flawless game, and you know, make the plays when we needed to make them, and we were able to do that. It was a team effort, and so there's no better feeling than knowing that, man, you just won, and not only won, but you won a playoff game as a team, and now you're on to the next one.
Drew, week 1 against Minnesota, how much has the team evolved since then?
No, I mean, it's night and day, you know. I mean, you're still trying to find yourself. You're still trying to establish your identity. You know, so that feels like ages and ages ago. You know, listen, they've earned the right to be in the position they're in. That's an extremely tough place to play. That's a very, very good football team all the way around. You know, obviously Case Keenum has played phenomenal this year for them on offense, and that defense is as stout as ever. So we've got our work cut out for us. Be a great week of preparation and practice, and we'll get ready to roll Sunday.
Hey, just, you know, we went with a little hard count, called the timeout, and going to win the game. You know, going to win the game. We talked to Drew really about if we can punt there and play with a little longer field position, no timeouts for them, and yet, you know, we felt we had a call, tried to get Mike Thomas. They did a good job in coverage, and they made a play. Fortunately, you know, it ended up being intercepted, but that's part of it. You know, we were gonna try to win the game on that play.
With the way their defense was playing, when did it become, I guess, apparent that it would be a breeze type of game the way it was?
I think early on, you know, they played some jam front. You know, in other words, five-man front, which they've been playing more late. A lot of down safety. You know, it's hard to find some of the coverage looks that you see so much of on film. There's a lot of 5-man pressure, and you know, made it more challenging. And that all being said, you know, Brandon Coleman Ted Ginn was outstanding. Obviously, Mike, all of those guys got involved, and it had to be that type of game. Each one of them was different, and that one, quickly we were adjusted. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it was last year. Obviously, we didn't play well enough, and I've known Mike Zimmer for years. We coached together in Dallas for 3 years. I consider him a good coaching friend, and I think he's done a great job. And their team has been outstanding, and deservedly seated the way they are. They're playing great defense. I know that. They're running the ball well. Every time you watch them, they're doing the things necessary to win. And so, understanding all of that, it'll be a challenging week, and we'll have to be on point to handle it.
We continue with Tigers rule, Sean Payton, Drew Brees. It's kind of what Brees said. Got to be ready to roll come Sunday afternoon. I mean, the hay's in the barn for the most part. Get out there and execute for 60 minutes.
You got to weather the initial rush, and you can't give Minnesota's fans something to get uproarious about. You got to punch him in the face early.
Take the crowd out early.
Punch him in the nose early. Get some scores and go from there. But it should be a great game. I think it'll be the best of the four rather. That are out there. New England, I mean, that's
New England or Pittsburgh should walk.
They should roll,
yeah.
And then the NFC is going to be tight either way. Atlanta at Philadelphia, Saints at Minnesota should be great.
We've got some more video for you of some of the Saints after the win over the Panthers, talking about that, talking about getting ready for the Vikings.
You got the Peyton dance?
I don't have the Peyton
He's got
dance.
a song
and the beer.
And the beer. Zach Strief.
Winning cures everything.
Zach Strief's got a beer company.
And he named the beer after Sean Payton.
Is that competing with Dixie and Benson?
I don't know.
Be careful. Be careful, buddy.
Let's figure that out
Don't
while
mess
you
with the
hear
boss.
from some of the Saints players.
Ted, do you mind breaking down that play for me? You guys obviously hold them to a field goal attempt. They miss it, and then 2 plays later, y'all are able to get 6 out of it.
Well, from the play call, it's either me or Mike. It's designed for the defense. And I seen Kirk come down, and I know I had a chance. So I tried my hardest to get to my spot. Drew found me. The rest is history.
Coach Payton said you weren't the primary target right there. Were you the second option?
Yeah, I'm really the clear-out guy. I ended up being the freshman.
You wanted to advance, but I see you got the broom. How important was it for you to get the sweep?
It's very important, for going from a team that pretty much saying that you wasn't really a factor for him to come out here and just be an X factor in the last 3 games. It's been a great deal for him.
So who gave you the broom? Was this something that was given out by the coaching staff?
Well, me and AJ Klein basically got the broom, but we're gonna share it with our fellow teammates. So I think everybody should be able to get a broom. It's kind of ironic that we do this. I know they're gonna hate it on the other side, but hey.
I mean, at the end of the day, I got another week to play. They do not.
That you got the two QB hits at the very end. Can you describe those two?
Look, when it comes down to it, I think they did a great job. They had that little man chipping me. There's a tight end who give a nudge every now and again. But I wanted more. I wanted more than just a chip. I wanted more than just some help. I want the whole line to slide me. I want my guys to be free. I want Sheldon Ranks to make a play. I want David Onyemata to make a play. I want Trey Hendrickson to make the play. And when you come down to it, I mean, hell, Von Bell came out and made the biggest play of the game. Wrapped him up. I thought he was about to escape. Had to hop in on that. Real big bro love. But at the end of the day, we just wanted more.
I had Roman Harper in my head. He saw me the other day make the layup. So I said, I'm gonna break that. I'm gonna make this layup. But yeah, it was just I said when I heard the call, I said go make a play, go finish the game like you did before, and that's what we did. And we got off the field and go win the game for these guys.
But after you had him down, what did you hear, see, and feel like after you?
I just seen all my guys run after me. I was like, man, we just did it. So the drive's over. We on to the next round.
How excited are you to get the opportunity to go back to Minnesota? I know both teams are a lot different, but a lot of teams don't get a chance to go and get revenge, so to say.
For sure. Just step up to the plate. We're an eager bunch, young group. We want to go out there and show ourselves and show who we are from week 2 to now. So we've grown a lot since then. And we really want another shot at those guys, so we'll have fun.
Is there anything you remember about going up there? you're going to tap into for next week?
We lost. That's all I remember.
I think Kamara is much more advanced than I was as a rookie. He's a natural runner. And his ability to be able to run between the tackles and understand how to run, within between the tackles of the offensive line and defensive line, and catching balls out of the backfield. I was extremely advanced at catching balls in the backfield, but I was still very much learning a lot of how to run the ball in between the tackles at the NFL level, because that adjustment period for me between college and NFL was pretty extensive. So it took me a little time. Luckily, I had guys like Deuce McAllister to help me. But I think what Kamara is doing right now, man, is special, and I love watching him. I'm a fan, and I think he has tremendous upside.
Hey, just final question: is this a Super Bowl team that you saw today?
100%. If that defense plays the way that it did today, against the Minnesota Vikings, if they can go in there in their stadium and create 1 or 2 turnovers, and give Drew Brees and this offense a chance to score more points, they're going to be victorious. For sure.
Reggie, when's the first time you had a chance to meet Kamara, talk to him, or give him
today
advice or anything? Yeah.
Literally today. Before he went on to catch the kickoff, I just gave him a hug. I just told him, man, just go do what you do.
Did Peyton ever give you like a heads up on him or anything? So you got to watch this guy or anything?
They didn't have to. I was watching it as a fan. They didn't have to give me anything. So, yeah.
So for the weekend, you got Atlanta, Philadelphia, Saturday afternoons. Saturday night, it's Tennessee at New England.
Blowout.
Sunday morning, Sunday at noon, it's Jacksonville at Pittsburgh.
Blowout.
And then at 3:40, it's the Saints and the Vikings. Saints fans got to pull for the Falcons.
Close one. Saints, Vikings.
Falcons are 4.5 point favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Vikings, 4.5 point favorite. Falcons are a 6 seed. They're favored over the 1 seed.
Quarterback.
Philadelphia, the quarterback issue. So you see it, Saints, Vikings, this Sunday the 14th. 3:40 is the kickoff. They'll be pretty dang close to that, if not spot on. The weather is going to be miserable if you're traveling, but silver lining, the game is indoors at U.S. Bank Stadium.
Here's what's going to be funny. If you are flying up there, be sure you look out your window as you approach Minneapolis. You will see cars on lakes, huts on lakes, and people will be ice fishing. I promise you. That's what they do in Minnesota.
Better them than me.
They bring their cars or their trucks with the trailers, and they put a little shack.
They get like a
and they
auger
put
and
the
drill
shack on the ice, and they put a lamp in there, and they take a thing and they drill a hole and they drop a line. It is amazing, and you'll see 100 of them.
Oh, gee. So
colder than cold.
Y'all got to remember that.
Colder than cold.
We'll take a break, come back. We're going to recap the top stories. Steve Ensminger, the new offensive coordinator at LSU. The less than amicable split with Matt Canada. We have details on that. And Darius Geis, old number 5, becomes the 5th Tiger to declare for the NFL draft. Deadline on that's next Monday, the 15th. So you still got some guys with question marks. But we'll take a pause here on Tigers Roar and come back and kick those topics around for you. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 800-383-8177. 800-383-8177.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, hardy planker siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
Acord Eye Clinic Vision Source is located on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge, offering full-service optical and lab work. Dr. Shonda Acord and the professionally trained staff pride themselves on service, complete eye exams, help with contact lenses, and selection of frames featuring Silhouette, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and all the top lines. State-of-the-art equipment including Optimap, which digitally photographs your retina. Call Acord Eye Clinic for an appointment, 225-767-3937. That's 225-767-3937. Visit the website, visionsource-br.com. All patients of all ages are welcome. Acord Eye Clinic, Vision Source. Continue with Tigers Roar, putting a wrap on this week's edition. We remind you the original airing each and every week is on a Wednesday night. There are replays on Friday and Saturday on the Pelican, as well as the ETEL cable system. And of course, mid-morning Thursday, we'll put it up on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can watch the whole show at your convenience. So, as we sit here on a Wednesday night, while I'm on the radio this afternoon, an official announcement comes out. I wondered why the delay. Now I know. Tuesday the 9th was officially Matt Canada's last day as an employee at LSU. So the next day, Steve Ensminger named offensive coordinator. Many people saying Coach O had to talk him into it. Well, I guess we'll never know that. Steve Ensminger is a purple and gold guy, Central High School LSU quarterback. Yeah. Great pedigree on his coaching resume. He's been around the program at LSU for many years now. Les Miles hired him a few years back. So we'll see what happens come this fall, but he is now officially the offensive coordinator.
Very good recruiter, and again, I don't fault Ed Orgeron for he took a flyer with Matt Canada. It didn't work out. He's in that foxhole with people that he trusts, that he knows has his back. He's got their back. They're all working together. So, man, go get them. Go get them.
I'll say this. What you just described, in the foxhole together, working together, is better than the opposite.
No question.
Because obviously, somewhere before or after the Troy game last week, they weren't all in this last year. They weren't all in the same foxhole.
And I'm not here to dump on Matt Canada in any way. I don't know the man.
Well, you can't talk. Oh, that's
right.
We'll get to that
yeah, good point. I don't know him from a man in the moon.
I never did meet him.
But if you look at a track record here and there, why is it so often it's here for a year, there for a year, here for a year, there for 2 years, here for a year? Does he have happy feet, or do people get disconnected with? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
You're right. I'm going to quote Curly Holman. Let's not beat a dead horse to death. However, we will point out that Ross Dellinger.
Curly said that?
Yeah.
Really?
He didn't want to beat a dead horse to death. He said that at a presser one day. Yeah, he really did. But anyway, they also he called the members of the track and field team tracksters.
Tracksters.
Yeah, okay.
My boy.
Also, Ross Dellinger, the Advocate, you can go check it out, wrote a piece about the less than amicable split between LSU and Matt Canada, the provisions of the payout, the provisions of do not talk, no future lawsuits or claims, anything disparaging.
No dirty laundry out there.
Could void the terms of the buyout, okay? And he's getting, what, $1 million for the end of January. And then for 20 months, he'll get $35,000.
I wonder if
each
LSU
month
said something disparaging against him. I
It
wonder
said
what
both
that.
ways. In Ross's report, it said both
But
ways.
does LSU have to pay him more? I don't know. I'm just saying. If he
in other
says
words-
something, if he does something contradictory to the document, and says something or does something to recruits, LSU can stop paying him immediately. What if LSU said something about him, which they won't,
right?
Because he's persona non gratis.
If Ed Orgeron has a press conference Thursday to announce Steve Ensminger as offensive coordinator, I would guess Ed will speak at the beginning of that and introduce
Correct.
Steve. And if Ed gets a question about it, he's going to say no comment. I
Yeah.
cannot comment. Yeah, period. That's all
That's
you're
right.
going to get.
That's
That's fine.
And somebody has
It's
to ask it.
Water under the bridge.
That's right.
Let it go
Yeah.
and move forward with the LSU program. But it's a less than amicable split, to say the very least. You know, we've seen other coaches get out of here and there's bad words fly and lawsuits have flown, but this thing here, they kind of wrapped this thing up in an 8-page document, according to Ross Dellinger, and said, this is it, end of story.
Good. That's the way it ought to be. It shouldn't linger on anymore. Cut and dry. That's it. We're moving on. Steve Ensminger's the guy. We're saddling up with him, and let's go to work.
Go to work.
Go to
It'll be
work.
time to do that. Recruiting period back open. Some key visitors this weekend. Some
Miles.
defensive guys. A quarterback, Foster from Alabama. The wide receiver from Rummel, Chase. So, you know, there's some important stuff because it's always all about recruiting. It's all about players. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll hear from Steve Ensminger on Thursday of this week. Also, shortly after that announcement, again to no one's surprise, Darius Geis becomes the 5th Tiger to declare for the NFL draft. Over 3,000 yards rushing, and that's, for lack of a better word, limited playing time.
Yes.
With the backing up
Yes.
Fournette for a while, and some injuries this year. 5th in school history. That's rather noteworthy. Supposed to be late first round, early second round pick in the NFL draft. To no one's surprise, number 5 becomes the 5th Tiger to declare for the draft.
Had some remarkable performances. I mean, those 200 and something yard games got the all-time single game rushing record for an LSU Tiger. Just remarkable, some of the things he did. It's a shame that he got hurt and wasn't himself, wasn't 100%. But boy, when he was right,
He was right.
He was right.
He ran angry, as they say.
He wasn't afraid. What I loved about him is his ability to stick his foot in the dirt, change direction, and then still not being shy when it came to issuing contact rather than receiving contact.
Well, he did what all good running backs do. They deliver the blow when somebody's tackling them, 19 times out of 20. Every now and then somebody gets them, but most of the time they're delivering the blow, falling forward, keeping the legs moving, all the cliches
Again,
you've heard since Little League.
You mentioned all these players that are leaving, and again, I'll reiterate, new offensive line coach and Coach O got to get Will Clapp and Garrett Brumfield back. I think that's very, very important because you're going to need a stout offensive line of veteran players with size and experience because you're going to have everything else on that offense very inexperienced. You better have a line because that's where it starts. You control the line of scrimmage. Those fresh running backs, those new running backs run a lot better.
I don't want to be the doomsayer, but listen to the following. New offensive line coach, new offensive coordinator, new wide receiver coach. Okay, you got a new quarterback. You got new running backs.
Yeah,
you
they'll
got
all
new
learn
wide
together.
receivers.
They'll all learn
and
together.
you got the toughest schedule LSU's played in a long time. But better hope the defense
they
can
recruit-
keep other people to about 12.
Look, they recruit, and look, if you can play early on, that team that keeps winning championships proves it. You don't have to be a lot of them, but if you got some good ones, play them and let them go and see what happens.
Well, you know, LSU didn't win a national championship, but they put a lot of true freshmen on the field, in particular defensively.
Oh, and that's a blessing
guys
in
who
disguise.
did well, and they have Devin White back.
That's a blessing in
So
disguise.
I think the real early call here in January is the defense is going to be the story of LSU football in 2018.
Gotta get special teams right. Gotta develop a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
You know, Alabama, I mean, their field goal kicker, how about that? One early, one late, And but they overcame it.
You overcome things like that against Chattanooga, but they overcame it against Georgia for the national championship.
We have a bugaboo with the quarterback position in all the years of Saban. Special team, field goal kickers. He's never really had a great one, it seems like. LSU, the game of the century. Guy missed field goals, right?
Yeah.
So,
anyway. The 9-6 game. You were there for that.
I was there.
Yeah, they had some players. You see the final college football polls. LSU in both the Associated Press poll and the coaches poll locked in at 18. The top 10, quite similar, to say the very least. A few differences when you get down to the number 6 spot with Central Florida, Wisconsin, and obviously Auburn sneaking in there. So if you look at the AP poll there, you look at that AP poll, above LSU you see Auburn.
3.
You see Georgia, you see Alabama. Mm-hmm. All of those are on the LSU schedule.
And they all return their quarterbacks.
As is Mississippi State, who's somewhere around 19 or 20.
Who returns their quarterback.
4 of your opponents are ranked. 3 of them could very well be in the top 10 of the preseason polls next year.
Yeah, it's daunting. There's no question about it. But that's why you go to LSU. You've grown to expect that. I'm sure when Georgia came up on the schedule 5-10 years ago, they were thinking, well, Georgia's not going to be all that great, but Kirby Smart's got them turned in the right direction.
We didn't talk about that. Kirby Smart has done a heck of a job.
And how do they do it? Their backup, the starting quarterback who got hurt,
Eason
going to Washington, and that they signed the top quarterback in the country to come in, and Fromm's just a freshman. How do they do it? How does LSU keep getting top wide receivers? How do they do it?
There must be some powerful recruiting messages.
Remarkable.
It's all. Hey, the kids who are at that level want a path to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I think whether it's Kirby Smart or Ed Orgeron, whoever it may be, if they can paint the picture of that path.
You think they're saying, look what we did for Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry.
And look at their contracts.
And we couldn't throw the ball we had Mettenberger. That was the last guy that threw for the amount of yardage that he did.
Yeah.
But look,
that quarterback
we didn't have a
fell in
passing
LSU's
game.
lap.
We didn't have a passing game, but look what they are now. We'll develop you.
Mettenberger was at Georgia, got thrown out of school, some issues, goes to a junior college, falls in Les Miles' lap, and he's been the best quote-unquote pro-style quarterback that LSU's had in a long time. And Ed Orgeron with Steve Ensminger, they want to go back to a pro-set run to football.
And I'm a believer in Jerry Sullivan, so we'll see what he does. I don't know what his title's going to be.
Wide receiver coach.
Passing game coordinator and all that, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. You got to give them titles to justify the salary that you earn.
Win football games.
Develop a quarterback.
Winning cures everything.
Develop a quarterback.
Everything.
And
So
you're going to win.
Get that done.
You're going to win. Develop a quarterback. Miles Brennan, are you listening? Get in the weight room. Keep working. Keep working. Get with Terrence Marshall. Get with Jamar Chase when he signs, and I think he will sign. And go to work.
And again, we didn't have Mike Scarborough of TigerBait.com tonight. He had a conflict.
Your misfortune.
So we'll have Mike back on the program next week. Don't forget, it's on youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. You can catch it at your convenience, plus many of the other things we do here at the Pelican. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. Twitter account is @Pelican Sports. So check us all out. Connect on the social media. And we appreciate you taking the time to spread the roar and watch the program and check us out. Jordy?
All right.
Tigers
Same time
with
next week.
Arkansas. We'll see how that ends, and we'll do this again next week.
Pelicans and the Grizz. Saints. Come on, Saints.
Go
Take care of the
Saints,
Vikings,
go
baby.
Go Saints and go Falcons.
Come on,
I know
Saints.
Saints fans don't want to hear that, but go Falcons. On behalf of everybody at Pelican Broadcasting, most importantly, those of you that watch, you've been watching Tigers Roar. Stay with us.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order.
I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
6, 5, 4, 3.
I'm back. Roger Cador here. Come watch Clarence Bugs and I as we team up to bring up all of the positive things taking place at Southern University in the state of Louisiana. It can all be seen on the Pelican Sports. That's the best one. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's the best one.